G'day, this is E.T. here. I'd like to say a few words about the cacophony carrying on within actors, entertainers, journalists and the masses who now are talking against democracy and freedom of the society to vote how it feels it should vote. The people out there on the left or the elite are saying we, who may have voted for Brexit or Trump, are ignorant individuals. Well, I've written a book on evolution. I don't consider myself ignorant. Maybe I'm not a very good politician, but there are some things that the left are not admitting. And as an evolutionist, I like to point these out because they happen to be true. And a lot of people know this. And by saying just the straight truth, stay away from the emotional bullshit, we start making points and erode the left from its bullshit pedestal. We'll read millions of words about the elite thinking that we are all stupid white men. We, the older white men, are all really stupid, and they, the elite, are really clever and really know what's going on. Only they are informed. We can't even read English, according to them. And according to them, only gay men, women, black men and Arabs have any knowledge we're hearing now. Fine, there are lots of brilliant black men, brilliant women and Arabs. But one thing about knowledge, nobody owns it, no one has a monopoly on it, and it belongs to everyone. The left and the elite do not like the fact that everyone may have intrinsic connection to knowledge, and that's why they voted for Trump and for Brexit. They didn't want to be told what to do by Muslims. This is a fact. Actors, entertainers and journalists and intellectuals who are on the left dare not speak but otherwise than what they're told or think sounds politically correct. Otherwise they will be out of a job, therefore they speak for financial reasons, not for reasons of caring about democracy or not, or information. They speak coded language that qualifies them for the salaries and positions they have in society. Simple. The second thing we need to tell the left: we do not want Islamic socialism run by a carefully selected elite. We do not want it. These people are into flooding the West with as many Muslims as they can to foment trouble in our countries. Then to what? After you've collapsed the economy, which they intend through massive debt, then we end up with Islamic socialism, which saves the world and saves all the people from the nasty capitalists, because that is their plan. Illegal immigration, the influx of a massive amount of refugees, Islamic refugees into Europe and the West in general, was planned by Ayatollah Khomeini in 1979 and 1980 when he made these pronouncements that Islam would multiply its population, get rid of birth control, which it condemns as a Western plot, and then have as many kids as it can. They have 4 wives and 10 kids, and then flood the West, and doesn't matter how many are sacrificed on the way. And that's why they have wars in the Middle East, create a bit of sacrifice because it doesn't matter in Islam, and flood the West with refugees. And look at those poor people, we have to take them in because we're the compassionate ones. No, we've been had. Being compassionate is saying, hey, this is how you run your country in a civilized manner, so you treat your people nice. You just do that. That is being compassionate in a practical way. Flooding people into the West when there's less work, economy's going bump, here's asking for a social disaster, and that is planned. Another statement of fact, political correctness and universities are being sponsored by Saudi Arabia, acting against the West using PC as a way of instilling fear into the mind of students against speaking out of what they actually know to be intrinsically true, but then they'll be jeered out of class or called politically incorrect or racist or homophobic or whatever if they speak their own mind. It's all about political correctness. It's all about mind control. That's all it is through the generations. And having surrounded themselves with sycophants, inculcating each other to believe they are the only ones who know, they are deceived by their own belief circle. They're reinforcing their own belief within their circle, bolstered by the fact they get paid for saying this sort of stuff. It pays to say bullshit. Whether you're a politics or an actor these days, it pays just to spin the line you're supposed to pin, what keeps your pay coming in. And we can never debate the elite of the left. They always will call you a name. Immediately you start talking to them, so, oh, you're no white man, or you're racist, or homophobic, whatever. They'll label that and you divert the attention away from the fact they have no actual intrinsic knowledge about what they're talking about, and they can be defeated by anyone who has, in a sensible, logical debate, not controlled by them or one of their patsies. Islam hates democracy and is jealous of the success of the West and holds much grudges about what it feels about the West, invasion in the Middle Ages, medieval times, into all the crusades. He thinks we're still on a crusade against them. Yes, the Americans have made some stupid mistakes, that's for sure, acting for whoever they're acting for, but everyone in the West isn't to blame for that. And just because we're not Islamic, they want to force us, we are targets, they want to force us to be Islam because in their Quran that justifies them. And they always will have people amongst them stirring them up to hate, because that's how you promote yourself as a politician within those sorts of societies. So chest beating, primitive chest beating, look at me, I want to kill more Westerners than you, and that spurs them on, whether it's trickery or bullshit or just part of the process, we don't quite know, but that's what it's all about. It's primitive. Islam has been trying to undermine the West for about 30-40 years now, because it planned, the Ayatollah Khamenei's and there's some leaders within Islam planned this. They worked with other bankers to finance and flood the world with debt. That's what the global deficit system is all about, creating disruption through massive debt, not actually increasing trade. It's inhibiting trade because they're creating too much debt. They've got the economic paradigm totally wrong. As far as Richard Dawkins concerned, he certainly doesn't get that MEMS are part of the evolutionary process. I respect him as a scholar, but I could give him a little lecture about evolution on the variable negative and positive tones within organised contexts that political correctness allows affects outcomes of the generation. But it cannot erode what is intrinsic to what makes a culture. We can use China and the Communist Revolution and Chinese now as a good example. You cannot erode proto-cultural tendencies that's intrinsically written within their DNA, under the code of the DNA. It's not there visible in the letters in the DNA, it's in there within another code there they can't quite see. The code of the DNA tells you how people will look, the blue eyes, the black hair, or whatever it does, but it does not tell you the actual emotional connections people have to their culture, which is organic, just the same as our skin colour. And that also explains Brexit and Trumpet that explains how people have this intrinsic feeling, no matter whether they're educated or not, that gives them this instinct that something's wrong's happening to them and to their kids and to their offspring, and they voted against it. Evolutionists have insight, whether we don't mean to offend Christians. Christians, good, I love Christianity, I'm a Christian myself. I just happen to understand evolution, and happen to understand that it can be used for negative effect or positive effect. The fact it's being used by the left on behalf of Islam for negative effect in our societies, and our politicians have been bought and sold over and over again to go along with it, is the problem we're having now. Donald Trump is a symptom. He may not be a solution, we do not know, but he's a symptom of a malaise within the West. No good blaming him or his voters. Everyone should look at themselves in a mirror and ask themselves, and what role have they played in this? And that includes all the intellectuals and actors, academics, and all those who aren't questioning the authority of whoever is financing them. Because he who pays the piper calls the tune. This is E.T. in beautiful sunny Australia. God bless you all.